Once I whittled them down, stick it to them by sticking around.
So the front suspension, we did all new arms, coilover, everything from Stone Fab. Narrows the front track of the vehicle a little bit to suck the tires in, get that fender clearance that you need for these trucks. Adds a better sway bar, a little bit of an adjustable sway bar. Just kind of makes everything a lot nicer up here in the front end. So, you know, heim joint steering, new arms, coilovers. In the rear, we did the React suspension coilover 4-link conversion for the back. So really nice kit. It basically bolts on in the location of the factory hanger for the leaf spring. Replaces everything. Everything's bolt in place. Uses their notch, their everything. So it's really, you know, because everything's made by the same company, everything goes together really nice and easy. So here before is where the front hanger for the leaf spring is at. So you take that, you knock the rivets out of the factory hanger. This piece is made with the bolt holes in the same place as all the rivets, so you can bolt it directly into the original spot. So knock out the old piece, put the new one in. Only have to drill 2 holes with this kit, which is really nice. And then in the back, same thing. You get rid of the leaf. You know, their axle cradle is set up. It's supposed to have the pinion angle, everything already figured into it. So you shouldn't have to do any kind of adjustments on this when it's all said and done. The coilover mount mounts to that same piece. The upper mount mounts to the notch. Okay. So utilizes a lot of the same bolts as the notch to hold the coilovers in place. Also the panhard mount is mounted to the coilover and then mounted to the notch. And it's been a very nice kit to work with. So this panhard bar travels with the axle. So when it's at a ride height, this is going to be level. But when it's hanging like this, it's going to be at a down angle.
Oh, okay.
So this keeps the axle side to side. So when it's riding, you want this to be as level as possible, and that'll keep your axle nice and centered.
Gotcha.
And then it doesn't move too much. You know, if you have it at a real steep angle going down, when you're riding, when you hit a bump, it's going to move the axle a lot more than if you start at level and it just has a little bit above, a little bit below as it travels. So the downside to a panhard bar is it does shift the axle side to side as you go up and down. So to minimize that, your longer bar, you want it level when you start, and it won't shift as much. And with this kind of a setup with a coilover, you know, you've only got 2.5, 3 inches of travel anyway, so you're not going crazy with the movement. Yeah, I mean, this is about as good as it's going to get for something like this without getting super crazy. You know, you don't want to do a bolt in, you know, with all this crazy extra stuff. You've got to drill a bunch of holes, because this is a kit that you're selling to somebody that's going to do this possibly in their driveway. Obviously in the air is much nicer, but if you're a guy that just has a floor jack and some jack stands, you could jack this up, do this at home, and it's still possible. I could cut some off of the heim and then cut a little bit more off of the all thread. And
let's put it together and drive it and see if it's an issue before we do all that.
That's why I had it like that.
Make sure there's clearance.
I wasn't thrilled with it, but
because ideally it should be. I mean, it could be really close to the steering arm.
Clamps.
Yeah. I like it low like this, so let's just leave it.
They were an aftermarket. They were a steel wheel, but they were like a stock look. I just don't remember what brand they were. Okay. They were just a black steel wheel, and then he went to the Raceline wheel, which is a much nicer looking wheel on this truck. You know, the black wheel looked okay on it, but you need a little bit of something, I think, sometimes with, and this really classed up the truck a lot. So Raceline's a really good company. They keep a lot of their wheels in stock. They can supply you a wheel a lot sooner than a lot of companies. You know, they're still a high-end wheel, but they're not ridiculously expensive. For, you know, you can buy them off the shelf. You get into some of the higher-end wheels and they're custom made. So you're, yeah, sometimes you're 10, 12, and even more weeks to wait for a set of wheels. You know, it's kind of a commitment. And then with custom wheels, you order them. Once you place the order, they're yours. You own them. They don't care if they fit your car or not, because they've custom cut them for you. You know, you get into something that's made, you know, okay, we sell a wheel this size. You can return that if you don't mount a tire to it. You know, so if you're not sure, you can take, like what we did with these, you can take the wheel and you can put it on the truck, run the suspension up and see, does it clear? Is it going to make it? Because then if it doesn't, you can say, okay, need a different offset. You know, you do something like this car. That's a custom cut wheel. Like I said, the Hot Rods by Boyd is it's a different level, because they will cut them exactly how you want them. Just depends on how much you want to spend, and you know, and if you're doing something like this that's a really custom application, you're not going to find a pre-made wheel to fit that. So you pretty much are stuck when you build something really off the wall. You just have to have a wheel made. Once he placed the order and put the money down, he owned those. So that Hot Rods by Boyd doesn't care if that wheel fits your car or not. You own it, better figure it out. You know, because they're not cheap wheels. You know, no wheels are cheap these days, but there's definitely wheels that cost a hell of a lot more than others. Yeah, these are, a lot of guys are running Racelines and American Racings. I'm gonna check tightness on everything and get this thing on the ground and see what it looks like actually rolling. Donuts? Really, Jason? That's what your brain went to?
I don't know. Come on, you know me.
What are you going? Saw the little ghost. Was like, are those onions?
I said, those better not be onions. It'll rub less with you driving it than with me or Dino driving it. But it rides good. That steering box has got a little.
As much as my quarters truck has.
You know what? You put my stance right where I want it. I like, you know, obviously I'd like to be tucking those lips, but at the same time, you just can't do it right now. So.
Well, we match pretty much front to rear. We have the same amount of tire showing.
So perfect. I'm sure guys will be following Terri home in this. Jesus Christ, when she drives her vet, they got to.
This one you got to drive around with the title in the glove box in case you have to emergency sell it.
There you go. Happy birthday. Crazy.
That's what she just said. She said, please don't.
Hey, it's not all is forgiven. Everyone is a villain, but don't call me a killer. I keep my mind on a mission, cutting ties if they switching, double life, double vision.
Yeah, you know, so what we were getting, you know the thing.
100 years. Look, here's the lives. It's when you think about it.
Yeah. So a customer brought us this beautiful 1964 Impala convertible. It's got a hydraulic setup from Homie's Hydraulics on it, mainly to address some maintenance items. We got some leaky cylinders, a little leak on the 8X dump here in the trunk, along with some assorted other things, one of which being the customer would like to have the front end sit about 2 inches lower when it's dumped. Right now it's got a real nose-high attitude. I know the reason he's having the issue is because she'll climb. If you don't just bump the switch, it'll get all the way to the top of the elevator pretty quick. Like it hits top right now. I'm gonna leave him a little nose up because those springs, it doesn't look like it has a lot of miles on it since it's been juiced, so those springs are probably gonna break in some more, but we're gonna try to put him about 2 inches lower. Discuss with a couple people I know and kind of do some math and see. We'll probably maybe take a half a round out of it to start and see where that ends up with us. It's a personal preference when it comes to that. Some people like it, so some people don't. We're gonna take a couple inches out of it. We're still gonna leave him a nose up attitude, but much lower. because the back of the car does lay out nicely. Make sure everything's looking good, and hopefully maybe get this back to him by Friday. So yeah, it comes down to a personal preference for the most part. But like I said, I know where he's dealing with this. He's running 8 batteries, and so his car is picking up quick. So if you're not really on the ball on the switch, it's topping out right now, and it makes it a little less fun if you're not driving it all the time, getting used to it, just because it's like boom, it's like right now. Yeah, and his is real snappy. 8 batteries is snappy. I'm gonna roll this thing forward a hair, and then we'll get it up in the air. If you find a 3/4 wrench laying over there somewhere, Jason, it's the one I threw and it hit me in the face yesterday. Bloody my damn nose, cut my nose open. Hey, you gotta check out this car we got over here.
Oh, that 63?
The 64 from the trunk. Dude, this car is like perfect. And it's like the belly's all done, the frame's full reinforced. Like, this.
Oh, look at that, dude. Look how clean.
Yeah, it's nice.
You know what's so crazy? The technology for all these dumps now have gotten so much better from the old solenoids.
Well, so this is the 8X dumps. These are running about $1,500 a piece right now.
Well, I noticed that he has a front dump and then he has the 2 for the rear.
Corners. That's why he's got 2 separates for the rear. So he's got a single to the nose.
Dude,
and
it's
it
just
wise.
so OG, man. Like whoever did this, just so nice.
Yeah, look at this. You got to see underneath this. This car is perfect. I mean, the chrome around the windows. See, all of that is stainless steel from the factory, and he's had it all chrome. Like it's.
What are you guys doing to it?
Just hydraulic maintenance. This is a guy that had that 96 SS Impala, the newer one that only had like 15,000 miles on it back at the old shop. And then he's been trying to get in here to let us work on.
Oh wow, it is rather. Holy shit.
Both sides all the way down.
Holy shit.
But it's been completely off the frame. The whole belly is like, this is clean. Like it's
so OG, put the mufflers back in the same spot.
Oh yeah, this is one bad mofo. This is coil under. I normally build them coil over where the coil's up here.
Yeah.
This one's kind of crazy because the coil, if you lift it like this, the coil, you just take it out.
That makes you nervous. It's on a high, they put it on a socket now too. That's crazy. It has like a wiggle socket up on top, right?
No, this is OG. Yeah, this is OG coil under. There's no socket.
That's probably why they make that snap sound.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's why they make the snap sound. But this thing's
nice car,
to the bone.
I mean, everything about the car, you can just look at. I mean, everything. You could see that this was a real deal car.
The good news is he's got a 61 convertible and a 61 hardtop that are this nice. He's got one of them that squeegees getting painted.
Super sexy. This needs a test drive. Let me know.
So what we're doing here for our 64, basically we're replacing our O-rings. They're very stiff, non-pliable. We got some O-ring kits from a hydraulic shop here at town. They have no, they should be not stiff like that. These are hard as a rock. So they don't have any sealing ability whatsoever left in them. Yeah, because that's all, that piston rides inside here and with those O-rings on it, and that is really all that is making the pressure move and not leak out. Get on down the road with it, then we'll go ahead and we've cleaned out the control arms from the oil leak that's been going on. And then last but not least, we'll cut a coil off of those fronts and reassemble this, and then we'll move on to the back, do the same thing back there. So I don't know if these were older cylinders, or, you know, I thought the car was done pretty recent. Maybe these just sat on the shelf for a while, it happens. But also, one of the things that's kind of bad for these cars is sitting still, because they don't get the travel and stuff, they don't get to work in anything. Do you know what's in those boxes right there? Those are switch suspension Van Dixon flannels. And you know what? You know what Seth hates most? When these guys help themselves and open the boxes to look. Someone's gonna be dead later. Because this is how we leave it.
Yeah.
I just want to see it. Oh, yeah.
I'm done now. I'm just disappointed there's no holes in them, because the van has holes in it.
It's not near enough rust either.
Right. Needs to be rustier, and at least a couple holes in each sleeve, like where the mirrors were mounted.
We're gonna sell those for $1,000 a piece. They're going to be epic. So we're just finishing up with the 64 Impala. The customer is here to pick it up. He's very happy with the stance we ended up after we had to cut the springs a couple times to make things right. Gonna get it out, take a couple photos, wipe some fingerprints off, and a very happy customer on his way home.
So we've got Seth's Dually Suburban here. He picked it up at an auction from some field out in Tucson, probably a couple months ago at this point. Him and James tried getting it going a couple of weeks ago. We're having some fuel delivery issues, so Jason just got it running off a tank and a little electric pump. I'm gonna tear into it right now and try and figure out what the problem is. We just weren't getting any delivery. The tank wouldn't take any fuel, so I'm gonna drop it. I'll check the lines up on the top of it, see if we can't get it running on its own. See that kink right here? So that was the vent to the fill. We were vapor locking the tank essentially. It didn't have a breather. So I'm just trying to play around with the pump assembly now, see if I can get it spun a different way in the tank to live a little bit happier with all these outlets so that the lines don't have to turn around like that. The tank's got a little well in the bottom of it, so I just gotta kind of work around that, put this wherever it's happy.
Look at that diamond plate C-notch.
Oh, that's baller.
Fucking James and Jason must have done this in like '93.
Yeah, no, running, driving, and owned by someone else by Get Down.
Nice.
That's my goal.
Yeah, so I think why that sender was in backwards, I had to tweak the pickup on it just a little bit, because if you went to turn it around where it faced forward, it was hitting the walls of that well. So I bent it up just a hair, and it gave it just enough to spin around to forward, so. Just regular ATF? I'll go grab some. What's up? Oh, bye. I ain't not coming back.
The real deal.
from Old School Mobile Detailing came and got it all polished up. So we got the custom cut Alcoas on from Lowboy this morning. Seth took a look at it and decided that it wasn't low enough for him. So we grabbed a set of street edge lowering shackles off the shelf. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the back of the truck 2 inches. We'll use the full lowering capability of the shackle. It sits in there like this factory. Your leaf spring would be here coming forward. All the drop shackle does is it takes this mount location from your leaf spring and raises it up. So it raising that leaf spring takes that axle and raises it in effect too. Set it back down on the ground. We'll get Seth back out here and see if the front is good enough compared to the back. If not, we'll drop the front a little bit more and call it good. I can't wait to take these fucking gloves off. It's like soup, dude. Just turns my hands to fucking ramen.
Personally, not quite. I got to do a little bit of stuff to my car. As far as through the shop, we are absolutely not ready. Let's put it this way: like we're ready, like we're enthused. As far as the stuff we're supposed to be taking, no, we are not ready. I have a feeling next week I'm not going to see my family, but we will get through it somehow or another. But yeah, everything. As far as the poop's about to hit the fan around here, by Monday morning, Seth's stress level's going to go up, which means mine's going to go up, which means everyone else's is going to go up also.